High-flying fun that promoted epic splashdowns. Just some of the moments that made 2013 a year to remember.
We're at Dallas Comic-Con.
From the convention center events drawing crowds to the city's new attractions on water and land.
Right? It's kind of chilling. It brings back a lot of memories of that era.
We are looking back at the sports, the scares, the smiles, and more.
We have a lot of fun here, and we can show it to the other people.
It's the best of 2013 right now on City Source. Hello and welcome to City Source. I'm Thomas Gandy. We are taking a look back at our biggest and most memorable stories of the year. That's coming up. But first, some current news. The city of Irving has elevated watering restrictions to stage 3. That means homes with even-numbered addresses may only water on Saturdays. For homes with odd-numbered addresses, watering may only take place on Sundays. No matter the day, no watering is allowed between 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. because that's when evaporation rates are highest. Violators could face warnings and fines. The city's website is the place to go for more information, including the restrictions for businesses and apartment complexes. Now to our best of the year, and no sight was more memorable than the incredible splashes at Red Bull Flugtag. Organizers say more than 90,000 people turned out for the event at Lake Carolyn. I don't know, that number sounds a little high to me, but no question it was crowded. Not only did we have full coverage of this event, but also all that led up to it. Take a look.
That was the hardest part, was kind of moving out, and then you're gone.
That's Irving Mayor Beth Van Dyne jumping out of a plane with an assist from the Red Bull Air Force.
You're not living if you're not pushing the line.
She is making the jump to bring attention to an event she thinks will be huge for the city of Irving.
And there you have it, a safe landing.
It's Red Bull Flugtag, an event you could see is better described with video than words. Flugtag is German for Flying Day.
And I'm really just hoping to be able to kick it off and have everybody come to Irving.
You can see the jump went well, though there is one thing she missed.
I wanted to wear stilettos and I was told no. I got vetoed.
No heels, she even brought them out.
With the jump now behind her, the mayor is looking ahead to seeing sights like these in her hometown.
And I've seen some of the previous years and some of the contraptions that people come up with, and it is phenomenal.
Inside a former Dallas movie theater converted into a graphic design business, we caught up with one of more than 30 teams building flying machines.
We started in early July and got going, and we've been working, 3, 4, 5 days a week.
I'm afraid to say how many hours.
We thought, what's something local that's going to get Texans really excited? Something that's probably going to be very different from a lot of other teams who are developing crafts that are more just airplane-based. And we're thinking it's State Fair time, we're in Texas.
And given the fact that last year, unfortunately, Big Tex burned, we thought a bit of a tribute to Big Tex.
Their team name?
Big Tex en Fuego.
The concept they sketched and modeled
have a central point that'll move back and forth
is coming to life. And this Big Tex will burn again on September 21st. Though this time the flames are fake.
We think one thing that's really going to separate us from the rest of the competitors is that we have some moving parts on our machine. So as our machine's going down this 100-foot ramp and ready to go off the edge, we have these flames. And there's going to be more than you see here.
Already there is a lot: foam, cardboard, and paper mache. How many layers of paper mache went into this? Combine that with parts pulled from kids' bikes, and they believe their machine has a chance at flying, at least farther than some entries of the past that they have studied.
And then as we got into it, it started to kind of present itself that, hey, maybe we could fly with this thing.
The key is Big Tex's hat, which will detach and become a glider.
The lightest one of us is the sucker that has to go off with it. That would be Rob.
I'll be actually on a little platform that's going to be built right here. So I'll be standing kind of like this, and I'll be holding on to that above me. And as they're pushing me right off the edge, I'll separate with the hat, which will be our glider, right off to victory.
The teams have to comply with strict rules, including a weight restriction.
Yeah, I'm cutting wood for Flugtag. We have a 400-pound restrictive limit with everything, the hat, the brim, the machine, the wheels, and myself. So every pound that I can drop is a pound more that we can put into our vehicle. There's a music piece of this, there's skit.
It's just a 60-second skit, but we have to be able to perform it while we push this thing off the ramp.
And all in full costume. The teams are competitive, so they haven't shared details of their skit before now.
We're gonna be, well, I'll just tell you, we're gonna be fair foods. You know, we have corny dog.
One that looks like a stick of butter.
Cotton candy.
We have turkey leg.
The fair foods come running out, and then they realize he's on fire, and we determine that he's got to go in the water to put him out.
It's a lot happening in 60 seconds.
A lot happening in 60 seconds, yes.
And with a big splash into Lake Carolyn, the months of hard work by this group of longtime friends will be over.
I don't think a lot of it will be salvageable, so all we'll have is our pictures and all the videos and everything that we take the day of. And of course, first prize.
It's something I've always wanted to do. It's kind of one of those things on my bucket list. So I'm super excited to check that one off.
Any fear?
No, not really. I mean, we're working real hard to make sure that I live, you know, through this.
It's going to be a crazy event. You've got all these people coming together, pushing off a 30-foot ramp into water, and it's just going to be a silly, fun time.
So that was the preview, and then we checked in with Team Big Tex on Fuego the day of the event. And as the team makes its way up the ramp, months of work come to this.
I'm thinking, have fun, look good, don't get hurt.
After their skit, it is the moment of truth.
I'm fine. It was, you know, it's great. You know, I'd do it again in a second. We didn't have any idea that the wind would just destroy it and almost destroy us.
What did they say your distance was?
Minus three.
We wish it had ended up better for them, but at least they and all those in the crowd had fun. Another attraction drawing visitors and media, the new Ruth Payne House Museum, and we were there for the opening, which happened just before the 50th anniversary of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The first van loads of visitors
This is amazing.
are getting their look inside a small South Irving home that earned a place in history.
It was certainly, the world came to our door.
The story is long, but the simple version goes like this. Go back 50 years. Ruth Payne lived here and invited a friend to stay over. That friend was married to Lee Harvey Oswald. Oswald was living here when, according to investigators, he killed President John F. Kennedy.
The story we're trying to tell here is how just a simple suburban housewife, through some acts of goodwill towards another person, got thrust into the national spotlight.
The city of Irving bought the home and converted it into the Ruth Payne House Museum. Walking through the home, guests at this pre-opening reception immediately noticed the 1960s era furnishings.
We came from the same generation, I think.
Charlene Huggins is struck by what she is seeing.
It's kind of chilling. It brings back a lot of memories of that era. And I remember the day exactly when it happened.
I thought it was amazing. I was really surprised because as a kid I played in that house.
Patrice Foster's family was friends with the Paynes.
I played with the kids. I even met Lee.
You met Lee?
Yes.
Your impressions?
Oh, she always just said, stay away from Lee, don't disturb him. So we just, you know, we were kids. We were just running around the house.
To get the home back to the way it looked in 1963, city employees studied photos. Check out the curtains in this Payne family photo. The city found the exact fabric to remake them. And this photo of the kitchen helped them duplicate many of the details in there.
And the guy said, hey, I could make something that'll look like that washing machine. I tell you, when I saw that picture, the first time I saw the washing machine, it brought me a smile. It really looks convincing.
I probably asked Ruth Payne 10,000 questions about what color was the carpet, what color were the walls, what did the sink look like. I'm asking her these things 50 years later, but she was a good sport and had a good memory too.
They did an amazing job on the shoestring bunch.
Yeah. They They made the couch. They built the couch. Yeah.
It all comes together to tell a story of contrasts. A busy mother raising kids while suddenly finding herself in one of the news events of the century.
In relation to the assassination, I think this house really does tell a story, and I was nervous about coming and well, how will it be done, but it seems to be been done very well.
The first stop for guests is actually here at the Visitor Center on the 3rd floor of the Central Library. People can watch vintage news reports, hear residents' recollections, and more.
Because the house is in a residential neighborhood, we don't want people just driving to the house. So you'll come here to the Visitor Center, get some background information, and then you will go downstairs, get into a van, and drive over to the house.
Our shared life of dishes and diapers was an idyllic respite from...
Once at the house, visitors can take in video recreations in 2 rooms and the garage, where investigators say Oswald got the gun he used.
When police tried to question all people working at the Texas School Book Depository that morning, Lee Oswald was no longer present.
Those are the real words and the real stories of the real people.
I love the technology that they're using with the glass and the way. I love that. I love the stories that they're telling in each different room. I think they did a wonderful job.
So this would be Ruth's room, and where she slept.
For group visits, guides will also explain some of the details that might be missed on an initial walkthrough.
This is the room that Lee Harvey slept in the night before, and the little cup on the dresser is supposedly where he left his wedding ring in there when he left in the morning.
The organization Preservation Dallas is working to get this home on the National Register of Historic Places.
So we have every reason to believe it will go through, but we don't have that officially yet.
I think we're going to see a lot of people come to Irving as part of this and visit. I can tell you that we've already been getting calls from all over the United States.
From the complicated conspiracy theories to the tough tasks of motherhood, this home tells the story of Ruth Payne's time in Irving, a story she is happy to share.
It was important for the country to have whatever information I could provide because I had seen Lee in an informal setting for those 2 months just prior to the assassination. And I wanted people to know what happened.
Tours of that museum are available for $12. Appointments are required. To book one, go to cityofirving.org/museums or call 972-721-3729. A museum that has been open for a while now is about to be part of an anniversary celebration in 2014. Brooke Pratt toured the Mustang Museum.
The Mustangs, for now, it means a lot, saying that he took a lot of time for him just to make 9 of the Mustangs outside that now symbolizes him in us in Irving.
Dallas Brown traveled to see the Mustangs at Williams Square with her YMCA group. The statues are a well-known attraction in Irving and the symbol of Las Colinas. But Brown and her friends also learned the story behind the Mustangs at a public attraction not many people know about, the Mustang Museum.
You can come and have a wonderful experience and view the beautiful sculpture outside. But when you come inside, you get the story behind it. You learn the complexity of the process. Remember, I had mentioned earlier that he doesn't use photographs when he works. He studies the animal and then he goes back to make his molds.
Mary Higbee has worked as the museum guide for 10 years. She takes everyone who comes to the museum on a tour that showcases the events of an almost decade-long journey that transformed the Mustangs from an idea to these 1.5 size lifelike statues.
Horses were done in 3 major steps. That size and this size were done from Robert Glenn's studios in Nairobi.
Though the sculptures are fascinating in themselves, it really is just the history behind it all and everything that it took to build the Mustangs.
Ben Carpenter is at the beginning of the story. He wanted the statues to be a gift to the people who would visit Irving.
He admired the Mustang and he thought that they represented Texans, strong, hardworking, dedicated, loyal, that type of attribute.
His vision was that the buildings at Williams Square would surround the masterpiece, 9 Mustangs running through a stream. The man who brought Carpenter's dream to reality was wildlife artist and Kenyan native Robert Glenn. Glenn traveled the world to create the Mustangs, the largest equestrian statue on the planet.
The Mustangs were designed in Glenn's studio in Kenya, modeled after purebred Mustangs from Spain, and cast in England before traveling across the Atlantic to their final destination here in Williams Square. From beginning to end, the process took about 8 years.
These interesting facts are only a fraction of the things you learn in the museum. A tour includes a short documentary of how the Mustangs were made.
I think the movie was excellent.
Other artwork by Robert Glenn.
Notice the horses here that, you almost feel that they can breathe, don't you? A lot of good detail in there.
And picture after picture depicting the entire process.
Most developers would not have put the time and the resources into documenting how the art was made, but he did, so we would understand and appreciate it.
The museum is open to everyone Wednesday through Saturday, 11 to 5.
I validate garage parking, and the admission is free.
It's one of the top tourist attractions in North Texas, so when you're in Irving or even just around DFW, it's definitely a must-see.
But admission isn't just limited to people in the Metroplex. In fact, they've had visitors from other states and even other countries.
From all over the world. In the 10 years I've been here, we've had people, I think, from every country except a few of the African countries. I think it's a hidden treasure for Irving, and I think that everyone should try to make an effort to come to learn the rest of the story.
With the sculpture's 30th anniversary coming September 2014, Higby says she hopes everyone in town will make the trip to see what the museum can add to your view of these magnificent Mustangs. Brooke Pratt for City Source.
The Irving Convention Center at Las Colinas is getting ready to mark its 3rd birthday, and the big events just keep coming. We don't have time to show you everything we covered there, but among our favorites, Prime Meet, a big gymnastics competition, and Kickspo. It was a celebration of sneakers and streetwear that brought out a lot of shoe collectors and traders.
This right here is my most expensive piece right here. This was game worn by Michael Jordan in 94, 95, his baseball season. This pair right here is a pair of Air Jordan 11s. It was made for Deion Sanders when he played baseball. These probably go for $4 or $5K.
Some of the biggest crowds are those turning out for the various Comic-Con events. Ashley Roberts went to the largest of the year, which was in the spring.
It is a weekend for comic fans to explore their alter egos.
I'm Voldemort.
Green Lantern Kyle Rayner.
And a member of the Red Lantern Corps.
At Dallas Comic-Con, costumes take over the Irving Convention Center, and many are personal projects. Levi Cooper created his version of Mr. Freeze.
How long did that take you to do?
It took me about 6 months.
This Star Wars character didn't take quite as long.
The headpiece took just a couple of days to make.
What is it made out of?
I made it out of fabric, or I pieced it all together, and then I coated it in plastic.
Others felt less crafty and chose to buy their get-ups.
We ordered these from China. It took forever. They literally came in last night.
Well, some people come to Comic-Con to dress up as their favorite characters. Others come to meet their favorite characters. For instance, everyone in this line is waiting to meet Jason David Frank, who played in Power Rangers. And they say the long line is worth it.
When I say punch, we're gonna punch the person in front of us. We're all gonna fall down like dominoes. Ready? No, I'm just kidding.
That is a huge deal. I've been watching him since I was 3 years old. I'm 21 right now. So, it's the biggest thing ever.
It wasn't long after we spoke with fans that Frank approached ICTN, so of course we had to snap a pic. And then he hijacked our microphone.
We're at Dallas Comic-Con, and we're with a lot of exciting fans. Fans are excited? All right, well, it's Jason David Frank, and back to you. Thank you.
Gotta give it to him, he still has the high energy of a Power Ranger. But fans were eager to meet many other big-name celebrities.
Pam from True Blood, I'm excited to see her.
My ticket's bought and paid for, and I've been a Star Trek fan all my life. My dad loved it, and it would be a great honor to finally meet William Shatner, Captain Kirk.
Pretty penny though, right?
Totally worth it, totally worth it.
And from Comic-Con newbies,
It's my first time.
to the veterans,
This is actually my 6th time coming here.
organizers say more than 25,000 fans explored the Irving Convention Center during the 3-day extravaganza.
This is a great venue. I've been to other Comic-Cons here in Texas, but Dallas Comic-Con has them all beat. They have a great show.
Ashley Roberts for City Source.
Yeah, a lot of fun. And we also went to a first time in Irving event that drew students from around the world. And they did not come alone. They brought robots ready to fling frisbees.
Team 33-70.
Perhaps never has a crowd been so hyped.
It's just awesome.
For a game of frisbee. Here at the Irving Convention Center, it's robots throwing the frisbees, and that is not all they can do.
And we can actually push other robots around with it, because pretty tough robot.
These high school students had to build a robot that can not only fling a frisbee, but also climb a pyramid.
Oh, rocking and rolling there. 1 second left.
This is a robotics competition called First in Texas. The goal reaches far beyond scoring points.
There's a lot of things that you learn from First. It's not just about only the robotics part.
You come here, you don't imagine things can go this way because you share ideas, you work with engineering, you work with big companies.
These teams started with a rule book and a bag of parts just 6 weeks ago.
We were there every single night from out of school till about 10 o'clock at night.
Hours and hours.
No, I can't even count it.
They work until the final moments. From what's called the pit to the practice area and back again, every minute is used to make the robots perform at their peak.
We have a match in like 2 matches, and we're supposed to be out there right now. We're still working.
After each match, teams head back to the pit for even more adjustments before their next battle.
We did okay. We had some problems. We had a frisbee stuck somewhere.
Though this is a regional competition, it attracted teams from Mexico and even one from Brazil.
This competition is a good way to me because I want to follow this career. I want to follow the engineer.
And that career-minded focus is the goal of this competition. Organizers are promoting interest in studying science, technology, engineering, and math, also known as STEM.
STEM is an initiative that is very important to us as we educate our future workforce.
While the robotics competition continues downstairs, the Chamber of Commerce hosted a related event upstairs for business leaders. Many of them tell the Chamber that there are not enough students with expertise in those fields to match available jobs.
Absolutely. We hear it daily.
The whole program is based around the fact that we need more students to be excited about engineering, excited about technology, and learning more about what future is out there.
Evidence of that demand for students can be seen in the number of colleges working to recruit these students. They are clearly smart.
We use a pneumatic piston to actuate our drivetrain.
But don't let the engineer speak fool you.
So the stereotype is nerd with glasses, plays video games all day, gets straight A's. That's not typically the case.
It is like a party atmosphere. Everybody is really excited. They've worked so hard to be here.
What is the funnest thing about this?
Dancing. It's a party all the time, especially the robotics competition.
And being a well-rounded team is important. Judges check for a business plan and even how the team gets along.
Not only the machine quality, but team interactions, design methodology, testing methodology.
All skills that these students plan to put to work.
I plan on double majoring in mechanical engineering as well as atmospheric sciences.
I want to go into NASA and do the spaceship.
I was told I should become a dentist by my mom, but now I want to do electrical engineering and computer science dual major.
I fell in love with this project because I fell in love with having a problem and finding a solution.
These skills are super valuable, and it's changed me as a person, to be completely honest.
They develop skills and make memories.
This city is awesome. I am liking it
so much.
It's my first time in Texas and I love it. I'm thinking to move there someday.
This team from Brazil balanced work and fun, showing us their favorite dance.
We have a lot of fun here and we can show it to the other people.
So what starts with a seemingly simple task,
A lot of thought into flying a Frisbee.
Exactly.
could end up sparking an idea that changes lives in the future.
If robots can already do things and replace humans out on the field, then what else can they do? You know, how much further can they go?
Big thoughts that these young minds may someday figure out.
It's the most fun I've had all my life, to be honest.
It's the hardest fun you'll ever have.
2014 will bring more big events to the convention center. Among the first on the schedule, Zest Fest, a celebration of all things spicy. Find details and a full schedule of public events at irvingconventioncenter.com. And not far from the convention center is Lake Carolyn, where people could check out a new attraction. Brooke Pratt shows us the pedal boats.
New boats are making their debut on Irving's Lake Carolyn, and they run on pedal power.
I think it's awesome. It's always a great thing to add something to the city that can be fun for just a group of friends or family or just even by yourself, because it's super peaceful out here.
Irving residents of all ages came out for a free ride during the inaugural weekend of the newest water attraction in the city, catching some sun and exercise.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun and a lot of good exercise, actually.
Yeah, it's fun as well as it's, you know, you're getting some workout. You're like sweating when you're out there.
There are two different types of boats for you to choose from. This is the one-seater and there's also a three-seater. These aren't any old pedal boats though, they're state-of-the-art propel-driven boats, which makes it easier and smoother for you to pedal.
The boats I know basically itself is just like riding a bicycle. Straight pedaling. No motorized boat, just straight pedaling. Good exercise, fun in the sun with the canopy or without the canopy. Have it your way.
The pedal boats are owned and operated by the same company as the gondolas that are on the lake.
We already have the gondolas here, so that is an attraction that appeals more to a date night or something romantic. But the pedal boats encompass more than just a romantic evening.
Actually, I'm very excited. I've been here for almost a year, and I was looking forward to like this kind of thing. So this is very exciting, you know.
Yeah, it's like a good use of the lake. We would always talk about, you know, they could do more with this lake. You know, there wasn't much.
So whether you are with friends, with kids, with a date, or riding solo, you can now add pedal boats to your list of things to do here in Irving.
From our restaurants to the gondolas to now the pedal boats to the largest equestrian sculpture in the world in William Square to all the public events we have at the convention center, it just adds to our list of different things that we have to offer for people that live here, visitors, and just our folks in neighboring cities.
It's a great attraction, great flavor. You know, we love it. It's a great new addition. What more can we say? Good job.
Brooke Pratt for City Source.
In other transportation-related developments, last June, the APT, or People Mover system, which runs between several office buildings in Las Colinas, opened a connection to the DART Orange Line. And in late 2014, we can look forward to the opening of the last stretch of the DART Orange Line, the one that reaches DFW Airport. And once at the airport, travelers will find some updated terminals. Some travelers walking into DFW Airport are noticing a change.
I was surprised. It's nice and clean. I like it a lot.
They are getting their first look at the impact of the airport's terminal renewal program.
This is really a very, very special day.
At an event celebrating the grand opening of the renovated Terminal A, those who worked on the project,
we are just hyena happy and peacock proud,
believe all of their effort will bring big benefits.
This terminal has been under construction now for about 18 months, and we think it really represents the future of DFW Airport.
Changes start here in the ticketing and check-in area.
It's just a lighter, brighter look and feel to the atmosphere and the space. The counters that you've known in the past are big, long counters, and what we've done is gone to individual podiums. so our agents are able to get out from behind the counter and interact better with the customer.
After check-in, travelers pass through a more spacious security screening area. Then,
My favorite, though, is the concession area. It's really quite extraordinary.
The whole idea behind bringing in the new restaurants at DFW is to diversify the number of choices that a passenger has. If I want Asian, if I want Mexican, if I want fast food, if I want a little higher level of service, I can have all of those different types of choices here at the airport.
what impression do you want people to get when they walk through this terminal?
I think for us, it's all about this open transparency.
American Airlines brand manager Marianne Klein showed us some of the features the carrier incorporated at its gates, including more separate boarding for priority passengers.
Part of the separated boarding, what we're testing with that, is this idea of trying to keep people moving simultaneously.
American is also adding work tables with power outlets, a popular request among travelers toting electronics. So you have a lot of these around here?
We do. Right now we're slating to have one per gate.
The improvements, which are debuting here, could be expanding.
So we are in the process of looking at converting all of our hubs.
This terminal had not gotten a major upgrade since it was built nearly 40 years ago. Travel trends have changed a lot since then. Claudette Bragg and her dog are seasoned travelers.
She's been traveling since she was about, 8 weeks old. She knows all the ropes.
They like what they see.
I think it's great. I've been going through when it was all blocked off and jackhammers going and paint, and this is nice.
The terminal also features a new play area, popular with kids and their parents.
We're so glad you came to play.
I think it's great just for them to get a little extra energy out. As soon as we have the plans, it's usually the first place we stop.
Kept him entertained, and the other guests who are flying didn't have to deal with all the noise from him.
With work now complete on this first section of Terminal A, crews can now begin on the second phase. And actually, DFW Airport will be renovating all of its older terminals, completing in the year 2017.
This is a fairly significant investment on our part, about $500 million per terminal. And what you're going to find is that virtually every wall, ceiling, floor, and all the infrastructure underneath has been replaced.
The changes even extend to the parking garage, where green lights now lead drivers to open spaces. Another big addition is expected by the end of next year, when the dark orange line is scheduled to arrive.
It will be about 300 feet from where we stand today in Terminal A.
The airport believes all of these improvements come together to give travelers a better experience.
A lot of people are working to make sure that this airport continues to be the economic engine of North Texas.
And now I want everybody to just sit back and watch us soar.
Coming up, our favorite sports and animal stories. But first, Web Watch, our countdown of the most popular videos of 2013. At number 3, a story on dog fostering and how volunteers are working to find homes for Irving dogs around the country. Number 2 was the story you just saw on DFW Airport. And the one that attracted the most views is our story on the Strangling Brothers Haunted Circus. And here it is.
It's a haunted attraction unlike any ever seen in Texas. The Strangling Brothers Haunted Circus traveled to our state for the first time. Their shows are held right here in Irving, but beware, this circus act is not for the faint of heart.
This is my fun.
It's a haunted circus, so clowns, if you're afraid of clowns, then come on down.
There's more than just clowns, though. This doctor has worked several haunted houses before joining the haunted circus, and he says it's unlike any other.
It's very intense in certain aspects. This is certainly one of the longest. Definitely the most professional.
It has to be scary when even the clowns themselves are anxious.
I was scared just walking through, and we didn't have any actors yet.
The haunted circus consists of 29 custom-built semi-trailers, outfitted with state-of-the-art animatronics, lighting, and of course, the crew.
At any given time, you don't necessarily know which trailer you're in because you'll enter one and transition to another, and you may not even know. They should be prepared to get scared.
It's about an hour-long trip through the 29 rings of terror, along with the accompanying creepy courtyards. The Strangling brothers of Texas, Ryan Lee and his older brother Kevin, have been making haunted houses in their garages for the last 10 years. And they say they're ecstatic to bring a haunted venue to North Texas that's a little bit bigger than their garage.
We love Texas, we love being here, and we have a great passion for haunted houses, and what better place to do it in your backyard?
The Strangling Brothers Haunted Circus is famous in Utah. Their friend has owned and operated it there for years. Now the Lee brothers get to share the screams with North Texas.
This market is huge. There's a ton of people that love haunted houses here, and there's nothing like this around. We aim to please, we aim to entertain.
I will be in the infirmary. Sometimes during the course of a venue, patrons sometimes get injured or fall ill, and I get to finish them. I get to take care of them.
You can tell the characters bring a lot of intensity to their work. They get a thrill out of scaring their guests, but that's not all they get.
We pay our cast, and so they think that's just a bonus. They would come here for free, and then when we give them that paycheck, they're just going, I mean, this couldn't get any better. They have a real passion for scaring people.
The screams will continue here at the Strangling Brothers Circus through November 2nd. But for visitors, their nightmares might continue long after that. Brooke Pratt for City Source.
That's the story you clicked on most in 2013. If you missed any of those stories, find them at the all-new ICTN.tv. That's also where you can watch us live 24/7. Plus, catch us at youtube.com/The City of Irving. We have more than 1,000 videos for you to watch, and we always like it when you leave us a comment. Now to animals. Most local residents will encounter wildlife at some time, and people in one neighborhood became especially concerned by the number of coyotes they were seeing. So we paid a visit. Another nice view here.
Oh, it is. These are lovely overlooks.
The beautiful scenery is one of the draws of Hackberry Creek in Irving.
But it's a very pleasant place to live and one that we get many compliments on.
More than 1,200 families live here, but not everyone likes what is sharing their neighborhood.
We have coyote sightings.
A resident caught one of them on camera. A coyote in the middle of a cul-de-sac during the day. Hackberry Creek board member Harold Rankin says residents here have always known they are around, but never this many.
Our reportings have increased of sightings.
People have pets, people have children. What are the concerns in this neighborhood?
And of course it would run the gamut of those, and because we are not coyote experts, what we decided to do was find this one, see if somebody can come tell us, is this something we need to try to eliminate?
We're seeing more of them because we're more into their backyard.
Animal Services Manager Sandy Grambert says that continued development has taken away some of their habitats, so the coyotes are sent looking for new homes.
We've expanded into more wooded areas, and we've expanded upon their territory.
Coyotes are considered intelligent animals. Once in a neighborhood, experts say they can pick up on habits and learn how to fit in safely.
Wild animals' lives revolve around routine. That's how they survive. So they learn our routines as well and become familiar with those. Is seeing a coyote in the daytime abnormal? Not anymore.
Are we in danger? And what can we do about it?
Neighbors wanted something done. Some were asking for the trapping of all coyotes here.
To grab a truckload of traps and go to an area and set them all out is just not efficient, nor is it effective.
We do color code all traps.
Animal Services says trapping would not solve the problem. One issue, that intelligence coyotes possess.
If they see anything different, or smell different, most of the time they won't approach it.
Also, the only option once they're trapped is euthanization. There is no land approved for relocation of coyotes. Animal Services will only try to capture those showing signs of sickness or aggression.
Unless they're not sick or being aggressive in any way, we'll just let them be.
We're going to leave it alone. If we empty that area of all wild animals, more will move into that opportunity. And that's just the evolution of wildlife in an area. So trapping is not effective.
Coyotes are very hard to trap.
Harold Rankin understands all of this after hearing from Animal Services. The department has been working with residents to explain how to coexist with wildlife.
Education is the first thing. We needed it.
First and foremost, the big concern is make sure your pets have their current vaccinations.
Those vaccinations are important because rabies is prevalent among wildlife in the state and can be fatal. It's transferred through bites.
Secondly is keep your pets, especially your cats, indoors. A lot of people have indoor-outdoor cats, and that's their prerogative, but they need to understand the risks they're taking.
Also keeping the food inside. You know, people tend to keep the cat food outside, dog food, and they feed off of that also.
Have you heard any reports of people having their dogs attacked or any damage done?
There have only been 2.
Humans are almost never a target of coyotes.
With that said, you certainly don't want to mix your children with a wild animal. You wouldn't want to do that. So you just want to be aware of where your kids are.
To tackle this coyote conundrum, Animal Services is planning to pursue a new type of humane program called hazing. Sights and sounds would be used to make the coyotes uncomfortable. So hopefully they would move on to a less developed area they would find more peaceful.
You're reshaping the coyote's behavior. So in effect, we're becoming wild animal trainers. And the city map of Irving, our coyote calls are going to be primarily here.
Coyotes are not the only concern. This map shows where residents are reporting wildlife. Almost every part of town has some critter. Some of the more common calls involve bobcats.
We're going to have some bobcats, we're going to have beavers, possums, skunks, raccoons, foxes, lots of foxes. We have pretty much everything you could expect from any wild environment, except we live in a city.
So you would see coyotes running through this area?
They would be.
Harold Rankin has been sharing what he has been learning with his neighbors. He is pleased with the city's response.
And I was very impressed, and I would like to say that.
And he looks forward to learning more about the wildlife sharing his community.
We think it's a lovely neighborhood, and it just has many advantages.
What could have been tragedy for some ducks ended happily, thanks to the Irving Fire Department, and we caught it all on camera.
We got a call from animal control stating they had some ducklings in an overflow drain on one of the ponds here on Las Colinas Boulevard.
Well, this is my first duck rescue.
This is a pretty unusual operation for us. We use our swiftwater team. We have 2 small rubber boats that we use for swiftwater rescue, and 4 gentlemen on engine 1 today were able to paddle out and put a ladder down into the overflow. There's a drain pipe off of one side of it. The 8th little duckling buried up inside that drain pipe didn't want to come out. They had to actually go into the water and spook him out of the hole so they could catch him and get him out of there.
Oh, the crew did great. They always do, no matter what kind of run we're on. This crew at engine 1, top notch.
We got all of them out. We had one that was a little shyer than the rest, was a little more difficult to get to, but we were able to get all 8 ducklings out of there and back into the pond where they could get back with their mother.
We needed to come out, so we came out to do whatever it was, as long as nobody got hurt.
Oh, I think this is a great thing. You know, it's unusual for us. It's something a little bit different. It breaks up the monotony of the day. It gives the guys a little time. They get some training out of it. In the event, we did actually have someone in the hole.
They wanted the ducks out, so we were able to do it.
Moving on, it can be rough for dogs up for adoption at the Animal Care campus, but they have a new feature that adds excitement for both them and the volunteers.
Okay, come on. Up.
Pepper seems to love this new agility equipment at the Animal Care campus.
Good girl.
And now she has something new to try. A teeter-totter is the latest addition to this course that the shelter's dogs can enjoy. Linda Palma has donated all of it.
I had started working with the Extreme Mutt Makeover, and so I set up in my own yard some obstacle courses for the dogs as I was training it, and I thought it'd be a wonderful idea to do it for the Humane Society and for Irving Animal Services.
We put a small camera on Pepper to give you a better idea of what the dogs experience going through this course. First, it's up the ramp with ease. You can tell Pepper is moving fast. Next up is the jump, and then...
And the one they haven't tried yet is a teeter-totter, and this is a much more extreme obstacle for the dogs because it requires them to feel comfortable, but they're unbalanced on it, so they have to be okay with the weight changes and the shift in the teeter-totter.
For her first time, Pepper does pretty well, making it almost all the way over.
Good Pepper.
Pepper's going to get some more lessons. Linda Palma has trained dogs on these before, so she knows what is needed.
It takes a lot of treats.
Get all the way up.
Treats and patience. They'll keep working with Pepper, but now it's time for Shorty to get a turn on the course. Looks like she's having a great time, and so is the volunteer. Volunteers who might otherwise get tired of walking a dog around an empty lot.
It provides that people-dog interaction, whereas just having an empty pen for them to run in, the people are sitting and the dogs, it's kind of up to them to find something to do. So it's great for the people and the pets to get to do something together.
Looky there. Well, that's wagging your tail.
It also provides exercise, a way to relieve pent-up energy from actually being pent up.
Sometimes our dogs get bored and they need a little, mental stimulation, and it's been really great for that.
It's not only about giving these dogs exercise. The hope is that dogs like Buster here can also find permanent homes. That's because when people visit the Animal Care Campus, they can see dogs out of their cage and going through some fun obstacles.
Can you imagine this? There's potential adopters walking around and they get to see a dog that they're looking at actually have some skills that they can take home and utilize.
Linda is already thinking about adding to the course.
There's little hoops for them to jump through and what's called weave poles for them to weave in and out of. So there's a few other things to add once we see that the dogs are enjoying it.
With all of the skills these dogs will be learning, could we have the next dog show champion come right here from the Animal Care Campus?
You never know, we very well could.
But even if these dogs never win any trophies, they offer many people here something much more valuable. The Animal Care Campus is located at 4140 Valley View Lane. It is open Tuesday through Saturday, a great place to find a pet. Now to sports. 2013 brought the first ever GE Irving Marathon, which took place on the Campion Trail. The year also marked the return of the LPGA to Irving with a spring shootout that attracted thousands of eager fans.
I'm so excited, yes. Ladies golf, yes.
We come out for Byron Nelson. And so this is nice to have the LPGA here.
There were many more sports events, including fencing and rugby. We have the full stories online, but a lot of our favorites involved athletes facing special challenges.
We'd like to welcome everybody to the Goalball tournament.
The sport is called Goalball.
Some people kind of call it like reverse dodgeball. It was developed back in the 1940s specifically for wounded war veterans.
Over the years, Goalball has been adapted for athletes like these from around the state visiting Nimitz High School for a weekend. They are athletes who cannot see. You can hear the ball makes noise as it travels across the floor, and these kids have to depend on their sense of sound to block it.
And the kids are all blindfolded, so no matter how much vision they have, nobody can see the ball.
This Goalball tournament is one part of the sports extravaganza for blind and visually impaired students, sponsored by the Region 10 Education Service Center and the Lions Club. Outside, we saw proud parents and volunteers cheering on the athletes as they run around the track, toss the shot put,
when we turn, we're going to push that ball,
and even shoot a bow and arrow.
Archery.
It feels great.
Anna Martinez especially likes golf.
Even though I hit myself a couple of times.
Oh, it's great. She gets a big challenge out of it and gets to race with her friends, basically.
Dominic Kongthong enjoyed playing
Baseball, base run, softball.
and he must be pretty good.
I got medals.
While Dominic is happy to get his medals, his father knows he gets a lot more out of playing these games. Dominic is a triplet born premature.
That's great. I have 3 of them out here, so it's a little bit of a tough thing, but to watch all of them compete is fun, and to see them win and get a good attitude about it, and just to see the pride that comes out of them.
Kids with visual impairments have limited opportunities to participate in sports and recreation, so this is a chance where they can come and participate completely just against their peers.
This event started 15 years ago with just a few kids.
It's grown from 30 students to about 285.
It's just a great event. There's not a whole lot of stuff like this for the blind kids, so it's nice to have something, especially in the state of Texas, to get to.
Parents told us that even after this weekend of competition ends, the impact lasts. While these kids will always live with challenges, they feel better prepared to deal with them.
She gets a boost to her confidence.
It means that they haven't really forgotten about the visually impaired kids.
Seeing the families and just seeing their smiling faces really after the event, and hearing the stories how they didn't think they would be able to do it prior to it.
I love my kids, and I'm just glad they competed today and had a good time.
More of our favorite stories coming up, but first, we have asked local leaders we have happened across in recent weeks for their thoughts as 2013 wraps up and 2014 begins.
We have had a banner year this year. It started, we had the Malcolm Baldrige Award, 5th safest city in the country, 6th fastest growing, some of the fantastic companies that have come in here, wonderful single-family home developments that are coming out of the ground. I'm very optimistic about 2014, very optimistic. And I just look at how much we're growing and how much we're progressing.
We will have 183 moving. We've been pushing hard on that. We've got so many great corporate relocations coming. We've got a lot of growth. It's very positive. Last year we had the most permitting we had in the last 15 years. So Irving is booming, and it's our job to make sure that keeps going.
Irving is still on the cusp of some great things, with everything that's happening in the urban center. Some projects, like Entertainment Center, the Water Street project that is coming on, the North Shores project, the Orange Line going out to DFW Airport, the redevelopment of downtown. It's just a myriad of things that the citizens of Irving ought to really be proud that our city, even in the midst of this, economic conditions, we're still doing some great things. So I'm proud to be a resident of the city of Irving, proud to be a leader in the city.
Irving is so unique because 72% of our tax base comes from business. That is good not only for business, but for us residents as well, to make sure that we have a very successful, healthy business community. And what we want to do is continue to grow that. We've had a lot of success the last 10 to 15 years growing the business community here, and we want to make sure that we continue that.
And now to the story of an Irving neighborhood that has retained a surprising number of original residents. They have stayed in the same homes for 50 years, so it was time for an honor.
My 60s glasses I have saved from all these years.
It's an occasion to look back.
This was in style, believe it or not.
These neighbors are pulling up their lawn chairs and remembering what Irving was like in the early 1960s.
MacArthur was not paved.
MacArthur ended right up here at Northgate.
There was no Las Colinas here at that time.
I think the population was somewhere around 45 or 50,000.
I think we had a fish restaurant.
And they should know. They moved into what were new homes being built in the Northgate Heights neighborhood in 1963. And they have stayed here ever since.
Oh, we were so proud of our new house.
The homes cost around $16,000 to $18,000 brand new.
I think we paid $192 a month. And we moved here from a house that we just paid $92 a month. This was expensive.
The Northgate Heights Neighborhood Association is honoring those original residents who have stayed in their homes for 50 years.
The Robinson family. And Reggie's here to accept that.
Even more families marked a silver milestone. More than 25 years.
Congratulations. Well, families now are so transient. People are transferred from jobs. They move from housing to housing. And so to have a group of neighbors who have been here, original residents, for 50 and more years is just a rarity in these days.
Of course, MacArthur Boulevard was paved long ago and now continues past their neighborhood, allowing access to all that fills the land they can remember as just open fields.
And things exploded, I think, in the 80s. And we just decided not to move.
Las Colinas, the north side, everything from Northgate all the way to Beltline and Valley Ranch, you know, it's amazing.
It's been wonderful. We're right here in the middle of the city, and we've watched so many things, so many changes, and it's been exciting.
The neighbors have stuck together and watch out for each other.
It's like extended family. I can drive down the street and wave to almost everyone.
We've known for so long and used to party together. Then we got busy raising kids, and then we grew apart. But we always, you know, keep track with each other.
Neighborhoods become better neighborhoods when the residents are one unit and they act together and look out for each other.
But they hope that being neighborly will catch on again, just like a retro fashion trend.
I'm sure they're coming back in style any day. I'm not throwing anything away just in case.
From Tai Chi classes that you see here to dances and more, we have been at the Heritage Senior Center a lot in 2013, and some art we saw during a wood carving class really caught our eye. Tony Cornett checked it out.
Someone once said that sculpture of any kind, like these intricate wooden carvings, isn't really that difficult. You simply chip or carve away the parts that are not part of what you're trying to create. Sounds pretty easy, right? But it might take decades of practice to learn how to do it. And that's why you'll find these folks here at Irving's Heritage Senior Center every Tuesday morning, carving and sculpting wood together, showing their creations, instructing each other, and maybe most important, having a good time.
We all have good camaraderie, just talking about our lives and then joking, and get your mind off of life in general. You can forget about it for a while.
Jean Priestley came by her interest in wood carving from her grandfather. It was something she'd always wanted to learn, and as you can see here, learn she did. But for her too, it's really all about the group.
We laugh and we talk about old times, and you know, it's just a fun group. And even if I didn't want to carve, I think I'd come up here and visit.
Jean's love of creating small items and animals has yielded these examples over the years. And Bob recalls one of his most challenging pieces.
It was a small piece of wood, probably smaller than this, and it was I made a letter opener out of it, and it has 3 or 4 leaves that are 3-dimensional carved on it. And of course, my wife's already claimed it, so it's not mine anymore.
The tools of wood carving are pretty simple and few. Specialized knives that can be expensive, but really need only be sharp and sturdy in the grip of steady hands. Those tools, a choice piece of wood, usually basswood, and an idea can result in a display of collected work like this. The rough shaping at the beginning of a project can really take a toll on the hands, so wood carving does require some stamina, especially for an ambitious project like this, designed by one of the group's driven masters.
People say, why do you do it? You know, and the why is not the important thing. The fact of the matter is, I cannot not do it.
Jody Webb carves every single day, and over 25 years, the projects are ever more challenging.
You can say that.
While Jody talks about his carving's early stages, how about a sneaky jump forward in time to see how it really turns out? Just look at that. It's going to be every bit the masterpiece the wood carving group has come to expect from it. The members all have their own special talents and specialties, but a common love for wood carving and its special place in their lives is really the bottom line for all of them.
I do it for me. And I've had people ask if I would carve something if they paid me, and I don't do that. I don't do it for money, I do it for pleasure. And if I want to carve it, I'll carve it, and if I don't, I don't.
Tony Cornett for City Source.
There were a lot of good stories in 2013. Thanks a lot to the crew here who worked on them, and many more on tap in 2014. Email us your thoughts on our stories. The address is ictn@cityofirving.org. We may read some of your messages here on the show, or you can always comment on our videos at youtube.com/The City of Irving. And that's it for this edition of City Source. Best wishes for a great 2014, and we'll see you next time.